Hey guys, working on a 2013 Ford Explorer XLT. This is a 3.5 EcoBoost. I just seen something I never before seen in my life. When we started the car this morning, well, the car was started this morning, come to find out the serpentine belt has snapped off. Okay, so when I put the new serpentine belt on, we started the car up and we started seeing smoke, literally smoke, like smelled like it was about to be a fire. Turned the car off. I mean, this thing only ran for like 30 seconds to a minute, and the alternator got so hot that the serpentine belt burnt completely off and snapped. I never ever seen that in my life. And when you touch it, it's burning hot. So I guess maybe the bearing, something's wrong in that alternator, so we're gonna have to take it out and get a new one in there. Looking at the location, even for a truck, this is gonna not be a fun job because it's built like a front wheel drive car. So no matter what, we're gonna have to take this fan shroud out. That's the only place I can see where it'll be able to fit out. So might be using some fancier tools with this type of situation, and let's get busy. Okay, put the air box out of the way. We can now attempt to remove this the radiator fan. So I'm just gonna try to remove this electrical harness here. Try not to break it without removing it. Really not a fan of these. Don't tend to come out too easily. This tool I'm using is this right here. Alright, all four of these are out. There we go. Alright. Yeah, alright. The coolant line is kind of blocking me. So, can I pull this little tab up? There we go. You seen that? I just kind of tucked this, so now I got the space I need. You see right here, there's an 8mm here. I'm not going to actually show me removing everything. And you can see the other clips. Just follow the harness to get the clips off of the radiator fan. And right in there, underneath of the coolant line, there's another 8mm down here. I'm gonna remove this too. I ain't gonna show it because it's a tight spot. Alright, let's remove this hose. A little bit of brake clean helps. And squeeze it together. Just like that, and walk the hose back. Release it slowly. Ooh. Now, when we take this off, we want to arc this thing up fast so we lose as little coolant as possible. So we're going to lose coolant. I do have a drain bucket down there, so I'm trying to think what I want to do here. Yeah, I'm going to let some of it out. Just a little bit. walking it up. Let's see if I can get this side out first. There we go. Wiring harness is moved. Air box is up. This little hump right here is getting in my way. I moved the coolant line to the side and I pulled you up and out. This kind of thing is like, it's weird. You need to be careful. It's plastic. It's easy to bend. I sprayed it with some brake clean. Like pinched it a little bit and got my flathead and it kind of just like popped out. So be very gentle. This is that hard brittle plastic that just asks itself to break for you. Let's try removing this thing again. We got a good look at our alternator. So like I said, the belt's already ripped off. A good thing to do to try to see, instead of removing a bunch of unnecessary bolts, is to look at the new alternator, and it should be sitting something like this in the car. So we understand that we have a bolt up here and a bolt down here and possibly one right here, and then the electrical connector right there. So using this as an example, let's get started. Remove the power strap just like that. May even want to move this as well. Pull all of it out the way. I'm using something called a tight reach socket. Just basically helps me turn from up here. I'll show you guys an example when I get the bolt out. Give you guys a little showcase of how this works. Basically, as I turn this, it makes it easier for me to turn while removing the bolt. So just to show you guys how it works. Alright guys, you can get to the alternator bolts from the top, but speed is the name of the game for me. To get it off and get the new one on, I just can't wreck my hands and move slow. So from underneath of here, that is where your 15 mil is. I'm trying to see if I can get a good spot for you. And you have to break it. They're both 15 mils and turn it out from here. And then I'll keep going and let you guys know what happens. Okay, just showing you guys what I did here. Sits in there like that. Like literally, this whole thing has to come out. So I may have had to put a socket on there. So remember, this clip here, I just used the flathead, pushed it a little bit, and this pops out. And this one was a 13, I believe. Now comes the fun part of having to rock it. Alright, I'm just trying to show you guys what I did here. The easiest way to get this alternator out. Now if you look right here, it's hard to see, but there's a nice little line that goes to the alternator just like this, literally. And what I did was, I'll show you what it's held onto and why I kind of get stuck like that, but literally just got my sledgehammer and tapped it until it finally broke off the block. So I'm gonna take the alternator from the top and I'm gonna show you guys what I did. Oh yeah, I'll get on that. Alright, we got everything out. Now get everything in. Now just to show you how hot this alternator got, look at that belt. This is a brand new belt, you guys. When I say that belt, it just melted off of the alternator and it snapped off. I've never seen something get that hot before so fast. It was like, it was scary. But let's get the new one in. I wanted to show you guys a little trick that I use to help me get alternators reinstalled. If you see right here, that's usually where that bar sits and it gets stuck at. I usually get my little spreader tool and I spread it. Just, you know, don't kill it, don't break it or snap it, but spread it just enough so that when you put the new one on, since it has that little bit of spread, it'll just slide on. And now I'm gonna get my parts on. Oh yeah, booyah. You're in, baby. Alright, now let's get those bolts started. This is the threaded top bolt. If you can get this 13 out, you'll probably have to turn this out. So maybe thankfully it was rusted that it stayed put, but let's get these in. Wise man told me if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So to get the belt on, I started on the alternator. I wrapped it underneath of the tensioner, wrapped it down here, and then I actually put it on the AC compressor. You see right here, it's a 3/8 drive. I'm using just pure muscle, and I'm just forcing that up underneath of the vehicle, just like that. And then I put the belt on right down here, and then just release that tension. There you go. Check all your pulleys. Might as well get a new belt. Well, we had to get a new belt, but just in case, you know, when you're doing something like this, get yourself a new belt. You don't want to have to put all this together and have a bad belt. So this is on. Let's get the fan and the radiator and stuff back in. And just make sure when you put the fan shroud on, the fan sits in these little tabs on the radiator on both sides. So make sure they're in evenly, they're in properly. Now you can start bolting stuff back up. Alright, remember to install your fan shroud. You can reinstall as many electrical tabs as you want. I'm only going to establish the one, or reinstall the ones that I need. Now that I got this on, let's fix this back in place. I'm gonna pull this out like that. The brake clean always helps it. Oh! A little bit of brake clean always helps it go on. And look at that, a little bit of moisture helps things all the time. Try and reinstall this back where we found it. Something like that. Reinstall this coupler. Get a little wet. In there, and here to snap. It's all the way in. Reinstall that. I'm going to tighten this down. I'm going to reinstall this. There we go. Don't be alarmed if you get a little shock here. Yep, I heard it. Battery's kind of weak, so won't spark that much. I'm gonna have to jump it before I start it.